What's up? What's up? Um, how you guys doing? Hope you're all doing well. Um, I'm still in this Bitcoin long, by the way, and I just want to show you guys, right? So my entry was 88,522, right? And like New York just wicked it to 530, so like it's almost stopped out by $8, which is insane. Um, yeah, no, really bored. Jesus, after that big move on Wednesday, it's just been super choppy, right? And my thoughts were for the long right is well, pretty strong H4 close this was, right? Like look at this. This was like a $3,000 wick, and I just wanted I didn't want a top blast here, so I set limits on the just front running the 618 actually, and that was like a good entry. But I think a lot of people shorted up here, so we could we could easily short squeeze to, like, 91K, maybe tap 618 or like the EMAs, which are crossing now, right? Um I keep getting wicked out or not getting my limits hit on bluffing, doing my head in. Yes, so yeah, I mean on bluffing it'll be different prices, won't it? So to, like, I don't know, Bybit or Binance. So you need to, like, work out the price discrepancy. For example, like if Bitcoin's, $50 higher on Binance, you got to do, like $50 lower, or sorry, $50 lower on Blowfin, if you know what I mean. Kind of adjust it that way, or adjust to, like, you can compare the charts, and wherever like the high or low was on that chart, then you should use those values. Um, but I hope you mean I hope it's not been happening too much, like because yeah, that would be pretty annoying. Um, but right, I already know, like I was. We could easily sweep up to like 90.5. I'm hoping that would be like enough for us to get a move closer to 91, and that's where I end up TPing. This is a valid short, right? Like we're still in a downtrend, right? Like H4 structure is still bearish. Hasn't necessarily, like, we could potentially be in the putting in our high low here, right? Um, but I'm not my TP is not like all the way at like $150,000. Like I am bullish lower time frame, um, but I will be aggressive to TP because we're still in a downtrend, right? I think this high, if we do get it, I think it'll stay protected. I just be like sweep like this, something like that, and then I would look to short, like short head short here, or here, but this one would be probably lower conviction to the one here, right? Um, but if we look at the how this weekly candle opened, right? Let me just remove. I have quite a few limits, but I'll remove some stuff off the chart. If we look at the weekly candle, right, it is flat, right? This is a flat candle, so there is no wick on the other side, and this is very, very rare to see. Like, I don't exactly know the probability of it, but it's not high, right? I said on Monday, or I think it was Tuesday. Um, where was it? I longed. Wait, I'll show you. I ended up longing here because, well, that was like one of my reasons, right? Is like I don't think we were gonna leave the because it CME futures open, and it sent crypto like straight down, right? And that was because the Greenland news. And if you look at the how stocks and futures are doing now, um, stocks and indices, sorry, they're recovering pretty well. So Bitcoin's been really slow. Kind of, it was grinding down at first, and then we got that massive news pump here, and then it got like retraced 50%. So this is kind of the area, right, around 2026 yearly open, that we have to basically Bulls have to defend here if we want to go higher, right? Like below here, and it looks kind of cooked. Like uh, you're going for like these lows at 86.3, 84K. You're talking sweeping a lot of lows here if we lose yearly open. That'd be a lot of liquidations, and yeah, like this is like do or die for me. This was also like sorry, this area for me is like do or die until these lower prices. But the area before that, which I longed, where was it? I think it was 93. Yeah, like previous value area high. Well, that just got shot through when the CME opened on Sunday. So we ended up getting stopped out on later on Tuesday as well. So yeah, longs have been brutal on this downtrend, but I'm glad we caught this one. It's a nice we've got a nice entry, and I'm aiming for, to be honest, yeah, like 93.4. I mean, I could technically say, pull this up here and say, like if we're gonna fix the weekly flat, then this would be like the TP to go for. But I probably won't hold all the way till that. I'll probably trim profits or like fully close out this high. Like I said, I'll see. To be honest, it depends on how structure looks. Like if we end up sweeping like here or here, I may definitely I'm definitely gonna take some profits for sure. Um, but yeah, no, like high time frame wise, like this high here. Um, I think I mentioned this on Tuesday. Like it made sense we rejected him, and I posted like a like a valid short, and I said, this is valid, but I mean, I kind of want a bit higher. I got a bit greedy with the entry. I wanted 99.5, like a little bit closer to my POIs up here, but we didn't get that right. Um, thanks Trump for running that with the Greenland news. But you know, it's all right. I mean, regardless of what news came out, right? It just so happened to be that tariffs on EU countries like that was what caused the aggressiveness of the move. But you could argue, this is going to happen anyways. But yeah, let me move on to ETH. I think ETH is slightly more interesting than Bitcoin right now, slightly, because well, ETH actually already swept its low right of today. So that was a setup that was actionable today, but like I didn't want to long going into. I was already in a long, and I didn't want to long again on a Friday, right? Like I hate long in on at the end of a Friday because it's like you're going into weekend, very liquid, low volume. Like I just don't trust it, and it's not really historically been like a great time to long. At the end of Fridays, especially after like October 10th, right? I think that was the most recent example I can think of that went horribly wrong for a lot of people. But like it would make sense for me. Like it would make sense to see ETH push a little bit higher from here because well, it's retraced already like most of the news pump, right? But it's tapped the 786 now. It almost tapped the 886. So for long POIs, like it makes sense if this at least goes up to like sweep up some of these equal highs here. Like this is all of like liquidity here, right? No highs have been swept. Um, arguably more than Bitcoin. So you could draw on this in the form of a trend line, right? Like this was a fake out, and we could potentially be getting like a the breakout here, whatever, like something like that, right? But yeah, I don't usually always draw with the trend line on my chart. That's just because it's already like visible enough. But if it's like a high time frame one, then yeah, I will draw it. Um, let me see. I think these areas would be good for a short as well. Um, this is like a what is it like a? It's actually a H4 gap, I believe. Yeah, well, more so here, right? And that aligns with the 618, the golden pocket area. Also, point 0.5. Yeah, I need to adjust this. There we go. Still aligns with I think I was charting the Barbie chart earlier. That's why I didn't update this. Um, but yeah, still valid, right? Golden pocket. It's within the H4 gap, and in my opinion, ETH is a lot weaker than Bitcoin. So this is also a short that I'm watching if we do get up here. But like I said, I'd want these highs to get swept and then see what type of structure we get once we actually get here. Ideally, it's like a more like a slow grindy price action. If it's like very impulsive, then like something like that, like a very impulsive price action, like it's dangerous to short sometimes. It's better to wait for like a reaction first and then enter after the reaction with your invalidation like above whatever wick it created. So yeah, for me, structure is very important. It depends how we get there, right? Um, Actually, let me see. If I look at the time frame on ETH, right? So I think ETH is like very simple. So in a range, higher time frame range, like it's always bounced after hitting like the higher end of the range. It's always had a bounce from these areas, 2.1k, and that like right now, the 786 is at pretty much that area. So if this ends up, retracing down here, I think this would be a good place to buy spot because well, you're much better off buying spot um down here than the people who are buying spot for a breakout to like. I mean, I remember when we were up here, that we were getting like a load of ETF news, right? It actually it ended up making a new all-time high, but it was like $20. It was much. It just ended up being a weekly SFB. So all those people that brought up here. I mean, I hope you guys aren't one of them, right? That they're in drawdown. So you know, in my opinion, 2.18, 2.1k would be generational spot buy. That's what I'm looking at. You could long here, but I mean, just because it might be a long hold and depending on like the funding fees. I mean, you could get paid depending on how they are at the time, right? When we get there. But in my opinion, you're much better off buying spot if we do get here because this is also kind of like do or die because well then after 2.1k, I mean, you could argue there's 886 here or we go to sweep the lows at 1.4k from April. Let's go level by level. Like if we lose, we're holding this SR right now at 2.8. As long as we hold this, we should be fine for higher. But obviously, if we lose that again, then yeah, I plan to buy spot here. You could have brought spot here once we hit the golden pocket, but I would argue, I would argue that where Bitcoin was when this hit at like $80,000. Mm, I mean, you could argue ETH's got some more downside, right? If Bitcoin goes back to the lows, let's just say not 74k, but let's just say even 76k. I'm pretty confident ETH puts in a new low, like lower than 2.6, right? And that'd be approaching this area here. So I think that'd be a great price. If Bitcoin for whatever reason, um, I think if we do get like anywhere close to the April low, I think it makes sense to buy spot. I think that a lot of people are waiting. It honestly depends because we could. I know Sailor's average price is around here, so it makes sense like for him to be like he's gonna be ready to buy once we get into this area, right? Like quite a lot, and I think he's planned for that for quite a while. He definitely had a contingency plan in place for if we do come back down here. So these are kind of like, like do or die levels as well, right? On the weekly chart, at least for Bitcoin. Otherwise, I mean, what have we really got here? I guess let's see. I know if you pull a fib from bear market low to the high, the 618 is 57K. So anywhere in this region, I mean, you're looking to dollar cost average, right? DCA. Um, anywhere in this box, like if we do get there, that's, I mean, it's pretty brutal if we do, but honestly, just play level by level. Now, I plan to buy a spot if we get anywhere near here, anywhere near the last wick we had, or or if we start moving towards 74K. I think that's a good buy area as well. At least for Bitcoin and at least for like, Ethereum and Solana potentially, which I will go over right now. So, um, actually, you know what? Where's my? I'll chart up the Bybit chart just to make it clearer. Yeah, this is what I was doing last time. So, what was it? So Sol, as you can see right now, is in discount, right? But again, like it's looking a lot weaker than Bitcoin. So I'd rather long um Bitcoin than Sol right now, if I'm being honest with you. But again, like a clean setup for me would be if we would sweep these lows here. Let me see. Just like we had here, like we had a weekly SFP, and like sure we if you had brought spot anywhere in this region, you would have been up by 1.18%, which was good. So I remember I had a high time frame plan for ETH, which was like if we close a weekly candle above here, it looks very, very, very good. I remember saying that, right? It and it ended up sorry about that. It ended up not displacing above that candle and ended up just being a weekly SFP, which is pretty bearish. I'm not gonna lie. Um, not saying like this has to nuke, all the way down there again, but it's not ideal, right? We want to see displacement above here, and then that's when, in my opinion, that was signal for me to start like, if I'm not already positioned in Sol, start looking to long higher lows. Similarly to back here, where we would get like higher low, you know, there would be like a quite deep pullbacks on Sol, but like every time, like you could have brought like the point 0.5 or 618 retrace on those pullbacks, and it would have paid off nice, right? Um, but yeah, that's those are like my higher time frame thoughts on Sol. Is two triggers, either one close above here, so displacement above this high here, or another weekly sweep here. So that would be like a similar setup to basically the inverse setup of this, just down here again, right? Weekly sweep, seeing no displacement below here, because below this candle 116, that's if we close a weekly under there, that's not a good sign. So, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, it just would signal weakness compared to like Ethereum and Bitcoin. But let me show you my lower time frame thoughts. One trade that I ended up closing early was, I'll show you guys, was this one. I caught this in December, like at the end of December, and I closed most of it pretty early at this candle here, like around 2.7R, and I had a little runner which um where did I close? I'm pretty sure it was at this high here, but like I didn't actually. If I had held, it would have been 7R, right? But that's hindsight talking. But this just goes to show that you should always leave runners, right? Um, as for setups and Sol right now, I'm not seeing too many. Let me see. Mm, I'm not seeing too many. The only one I'd argue is worth taking would be maybe like if we get some sort of retest. retesting like maybe the one of these two EMAs, like even potentially sweeping this high. I mean, it looks a bit far fetched now, but if we get something like that, and that lines up with like the EMAs dropping a bit lower, then that would make sense. Let me drop this. Let me see. Let me draw. I'll draw a fib from the high there to the low. Oh, this is the wrong tool. Hold on. All right. Well, that's a bit higher up. I don't think. Yeah, good to go there. I think it's much more likely we tap the 0.5 if I'm being honest, or the 382. To be honest, ETH is retraced quite hard, so it would uh it would have to make quite an effort to get back to like 136, 139, in my opinion. Obviously, Bitcoin starts outperforming again, right? Because right now it's heavily underperforming indices and stocks. Then yeah, we could potentially see a lot on this again. But as a hedge short, I would definitely look around this area, something like this, like maybe the inval like after the sweep happens, right? I'd put the stops above the wick, and then target like a local swing low that whatever created the move up, and then like 4 TP would probably be like maybe there. Those equal lows. Those are equal lows. Yeah, they are. That neither of them swept, right? That's what I'm watching. But we would see it's very discretionary. Like I would need to see first a sweep, right? I wouldn't set limits for this, and a good reaction as well. And then yeah, if um if any of you guys have any alts, just drop them in chat. I'll look at them as well. Um, yeah. As for long setups, hmm, honestly, I think potentially one I was thinking about so was a sweep of this wick. To be honest, like a sniper limit would honestly be something like this: 7 8, like maybe a front run of 786, maybe like stop below like that wick, and then so the idea would be we come and sweep this sell side liquidity here, right? All in one candle, but it would end up closing as an SFP back above the 124. So if it sweeps, we get tagged in. That could be, I think, like a sniper play. It's a step I've done before quite often, and it works well. But again, like it is a riskier play because you're not waiting for the reaction. You're setting a limit, right? But often, like it's very much worth the risk to reward to play those kind of setups. Um, yeah, like it would highly depend on I think Bitcoin as well, which like where it's tagging. So it would need to align perfectly, I think. But it is a setup I was thinking. But obviously we didn't really get anywhere close to that. I think because I remember we were like tread closer towards it, and then Trump announced that like somewhere here I was looking at it, and then we had that shoot like kind of shoot up. So I didn't really end up setting limits or anything like that just yet. I mean, not after that impulsive move, right? Like it didn't really make sense. Um, but yeah, I think one of the other interesting odds is BNB. Um, I think again, like no displacement above 950. That was a setup I was looking at when we were up here at these highs. Like, was if we get displacement, like I'd be looking for the continuation longs to this wick here. I think I mentioned this a couple live streams back, but of course it was just a day. So, and then we got the structure break here, which made me like look one it the thing is it gave no retrace for a short, otherwise I would have liked to have been in a short. Um, I'd say locally though, like this is a good POI. Um, I mean it closed below the wick, but it did sweep that here. So makes sense why like it had some reactions down here, right? And in terms of like relative strength compared to like Bitcoin, BNB definitely is a stronger one because um well not just Bitcoin, like Sol and Ethereum, right? BNB is not even tagged it's 618 retracement level. Yeah. And so clearly it's showing signs of relative strength. So I think I believe it did react from point 0.5. I mean somewhat, right? It's like if if Bitcoin does sweep the lows again, I mean to be honest, I don't expect this to if Bitcoin goes to sweep the lows again, I don't expect BNB to. So, but if we do, like, if we do sweep this, I think that'd be very clean setup because this is showing quite a lot of relative strength compared to other alts. And you have like a lot of clean upside targets too, right? Um, a lot of highs. Like this was very aggressive selling here, and then we finally got some displacement here at the lows. So it would make sense like to consolidate more over the weekend and then choose a direction, right? Like on closer to Monday or Tuesday. So we'll see. Like if we form some nice structure on the weekend and then like sweep the candle going into Monday or Tuesday, or look to long that, and then like put my stops below whatever the wick or whatever the sweep was. I'll target a little bit higher, like either there or the top of the CME futures open candle, right? Something like that. Like I think some of the analysts have talked about like similar setups like this, right? So, I mean, how would I even draw this? I don't have the colored boxes in, but let me see. It'd be AMD play. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is, but if you don't know what it is, it's like it stands for accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. So the idea is right, like there's a range forming, right? That there's a range that forms, and so once price like does end up sweeping all the sell side of one side of the range or buy side, whatever whichever side it sweeps, it doesn't really matter. If it if it if it then reclaims inside of the range, the idea is that the setup would be you get long once you see a strong reclaim, stops below the sweep, whichever side it was. This can be like inverse as well, right? Like up here, and then you get the true move, right? The idea that is that this is a fake out, which is the manipulation part of it, right? And then hold on, this is so annoying. There we go. Yeah, so the idea, right? You get accumulation, whatever. People like retail, like buying and selling here, they get swept out early, and then once the range reclaim happens, you long with and you have a clean invalidation, and then you target buy side higher, right? Buy side liquidity. So I mean, I'll try to find an example here on the chart. I mean, I've seen it a lot on Ethereum. Let me see. Mm, no, it won't be the setups. There might be more on the H1 as well, but I'd have to go back and look. But you get the point, guys, right? This happens more, I think, on Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. But if it happens on BNB here, like it would make sense, especially from this area, and especially because it's showing signs of relative strength here as well. So yeah, that would make sense for me. Um, let me see. Hyperliquid. I'll look at Hype as well. Again, if you have any alts, just pop in the chat. I'll look at it as well. Hyperliquid's an interesting one because it swept the 10-10 wick, but it just didn't quite tap the 786, which is what I wanted to. Whereas, like where I wanted to buy, right, on spot, I plan to be buying Hyperliquid, right, in between $20 down to 15, and after 15, I won't be buying anymore. So that's like a 25% buying range, but we haven't exactly tapped it yet. We've swept the wick, the October 10th wick on both Binance and Bybit chart. So would it make sense to bounce from here? Like, sure. But again, like, it's a valid long setup, but I just don't think I want to be buying spot on this. I don't really want to swing long this. I can't really be bothered. Um, but like, yeah, sure, like it's a valid setup. So, for example, if you're on the daily, it's very much worth the RR, right? So we swept to here, closed at what price is that? 21.5, right? So I guess it's still, if it comes back to entry, technically it's still valid, right? So the idea would be that it's swept, it's now filled the wick fully. And I mean, this trade would be like God monster, like RR, at least till like, in my opinion, I wouldn't hold past $50. Like this is major, like psychological level. You know, a lot of people were like selling here at $50, right? Is a obvious level to for a lot of people to sell, right? Um, I mean, I would rather buy if I'm being honest, I'd rather buy a spot here, like in this range, rather than a swing long in this. So because you just never know the wick, you could easily get wicked out, but then it would just end up being an SFP. So that'd be like very annoying. Like if you like if you just buy in spot, right? You're not gonna get like forced out, right? And yeah, there's no chance I'm long in this without a stop loss. So yeah, I don't really. I just plan to buy spot. If we go back to 20.5, I'll probably start buying all the way down to 15, all the way down to 15. Yeah. Um, but obviously I've got this set up like, but this isn't. I would say my invalidation for this would be either like a 3-day close or a weekly close under the AA6. I would just want, like, if it's gonna wick down there, that's fine. Wicks are fine. It's just like if I see acceptance below here, it's just like, wow, this coin's really dead. Like no one's buying around the AA6. Like if that were to happen, right, that would be pretty worrying. So I would probably cut the trade there. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like I'm gonna dollar cost average, so it won't be that huge of a loss, and the risk to reward is definitely worth it. Like 25% buying range. Let's just say my average is like, I don't know, 17. Just to $50 would be 181% gain. But if I'm being honest, I'd have to take profits along the way. So probably around 36, another one at like 41. I'll probably do small one at 30, another one at 36, and then another one at 41. So one, two, three, take profits, and then leave a small moon bag for like either 50 or like a new all-time high. But yeah, like it very much depends on the environment, to be honest. But I'm gonna delete this because it's not technically a long. It's just it would just be like a spot play for me in between here. I'll put it in here to make it a um, yeah. And I'll remove this because we're way below now, right? Uh, I'll actually make this a little bit clearer. I'll post this in chat as well, just in case anyone wants to look at it as well. It's definitely worth the risk to reward here. Asta, okay. I'll look at Asta George. So CZ coin, right? Holy. Okay, wait. I didn't take the setup. Yeah, you see, like there was no reclaim here of that wick. Don't don't worry, Georgia. Like I didn't get stopped out of this. Never even entered this. Right. Let me see. Man, this looks rough. Actually, what happened here? What? 19th of January. What was that? That was oh. Oh, that is bad. I mean, to be fair, it's recovered. I mean, that was a pretty bad wick, right? But it's recovered decently. Um Jeez, that's a rough wick there. Let me see. I had I wasn't watching this, but let me guess. Like, yeah, like people were buying here. This was a good setup. All right. Well, structure looks good on the H1, right? Um, if right, and this is a big if structure stays, um, if structure doesn't break, this looks like a good long. So like around this wick, around the point 0.5, right? Like we cannot lose this wick low here because that create a new high, right? Um, it's a bit annoying because hmm, we may not get it. We may not get it, and it may tap the EMA first. So, in my opinion, this is going for like a short setup here. So that wick low there, in my opinion, um, will have a good reaction, and plus that lines up with the EMAs. The only thing is, where am I placing my inval, right? So let me see. Yeah, I would say probably a little bit above the 0.65, just in case it does wick into it. That's sort of my long and short setup. If I'm being honest, ideally, we get the long fill first, but it's slightly annoying because we should have already been filled on a pullback on this. But if we're gonna get filled, right, it's got to be from here, the 0.5. If we're gonna keep bullish structure right on the H1, this the low has to stay protected, and that would be like the head short that goes into here. But if the head short tags first, then it would be like I'd say a half risk for me at least. Um. Oh, what's going on to Bitcoin? Someone tagged me in the chat. What a luck. Let me see. Oh yeah. I think Malik's on about my entry. I don't believe it. Wait. Let me go back to Asta and then I'll look at Bitcoin first. I mean after. Yeah. I think the setup would be good. Short would make sense. I'd want to see a reaction. I think it would at least give one off from here around this area, right? So, and then the long, if H1 structure is protected, then this kind of has to hold that wick low there. Technically, like 382 as well, but we'll see. I mean, it honestly depends. If the short fills first, I'd go half risk. But also, we're about to enter weekend, so I mean, both the setups are risky. All right, I'll post that in chat, and then hold on. I was gonna check the Bybit chart, right? Um, hmm. So Bybit actually did wick below, but I'm using Binance chart, so and the prop from my uses Binance. So yeah, this is actually going towards this high here. I might look to take profit soon. It is interesting that this is happening on a Friday, right? Because usually Fridays are sell-offs, but I'm liking how it's looking. I'll tell you what, like if it closes H1 here, I think we're good. Above 90k. And then it'll at least sweep that, and then we'll get a move into 91, I think. Yeah. And that's when I'll take my TP1. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts for now. We'll see in 17 minutes. This could also be your head short setup, to be honest. We'll see. It's a Friday, so I'm not, and we're heading into the US close, so I'm not expecting much. Um, but yeah, guys, if you don't have any more questions, I'll yeah, I'll end it here. I mean, not much else to go through. I went through a couple alts. I'll look at XMR because we did have some movement here. I'm not in this long. It was just an idea. Uh, I'll go on the H4 first. So this saw a pretty deep retrace. I talked about XMR last week, I believe, and I said if it comes down to the 618, it could be a good scalp long. And I mean, it was a good scalp long initially, right? It gave what 8%, but it was a bit tough. Like, where would you have placed your stop loss? Like, I guess right under the 0.65, but I mean, if you didn't take profit, you would have gone wicked out, right? So the 786 kind of was the better zone. It's seeing consolidation here. So we'll see. We still, I would say, the H1 says that it's broken structure, right? But on the H4, it's still in a major downtrend. At least from like 798, it is. Like this could technically be our high low, but you know, I really don't think so, to be honest. I posted a chart in the chart chat. Okay, let me have a look. Mm-mm-mm. So, what coin is this? Zero base. What is that coin? 200 EMA. Okay, let me see. Yep. Okay. It looks good. Like the setup looks good, right? It's clearly breaking out. Um, where did you plan to place your invalidation? Like below the 15 SMA? I mean, the thing is, like, the risk to reward is so good because you've got so much upside targets, right? Quite a big area of upside there. So, um, the thing with using Titan validations is you might get wicked out before the move. I've seen that happen a lot. It's happened to me and it's happened to like other analysts as well. So, I mean, it's completely up to you. Uh, Zero base, and I think Monero could be ready to lift off again. Yeah, H1 chart is telling me yes. right? Like, so this week here at 528, um, like led to like a literally an 8% down move, right? And then a couple hours later, we're now closed the H1 above that high, right? So this was a completely valid long to take here. This was a 786 pounds plus 30-minute demand zone, I believe. Yeah, 30-minute demand zone. So, you know, I'm not on a long here, but in my opinion, the setup was here. I just I didn't take it. I just planned was sort of a paper trade for me because I don't usually trade XMR, right? Um, I didn't know like if it respected levels as well. I knew it respected fib levels very well, but I just didn't know if it like supply and demand would work as good as it does on like Bitcoin and ETH. But yeah, like H1's chart is saying higher as long as long as we don't lose. I'd say this has to be the higher low because if we go back below here and we close below here on the H1, that would look bearish again. And the H4 hasn't necessarily changed. Like, yeah, H4. In order for the H4 trend to change, we need to close candles like up here above 650. So it's quite far away. Um, in my opinion, uh, let's just say it pumps from here to like 542. Maybe like on a lower time frame, if there's like a higher low structure like this, because you understand like price action is fractal. So what's happening on the 4 hour chart, like the same thing will be happening on the 5 minute or 50 minute, whatever. You can find a setup on the lower time frame, and it could start rejecting from here. Don't get me wrong, but if it starts flipping those EMAs, then yeah, like this, it looks very good for like a double digit R trade, if you know what I mean. Those are the type of trades that are like, if you go on the 5 minute tight inval, risky. You don't have to go 1 hour risk. You can do like 0.25 R or zero point 0.5, but the risk to reward is, is there. Like it makes up for the half risk that you took, if you know what I mean. So, but yeah, zero base. I'll open that on my chart real quick. Uh, what is Oh, hold up. Oh, it's not on perps. Oh, it is on perps. Zero base. Zero base. Why is it not coming up on Oh, ZBT. Oh, ZBT. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, someone asked me to look at this, I think. And this is like not usually the charts I trade, but like I think yeah, so you grabbed you drew this, right? Hold up though. I've drawn it a little bit wonky there. Yeah, like okay, so you're like this could be the retest, right? And this is about to shoot off. Um in my opinion, yeah, you found a good setup here. I don't know exactly what your invalidation would be, but mine would, because the risk reward is so good, and I would not want to get wicked out before the move. I'd probably put my stops there if I'm being honest, and like take a TP there, and then maybe ride it up to there. The thing with these coins is they can just easily put in a 50% candle. So the two, yeah, might have even been me. I've been watching it for a few days. Yeah. Oh, so you've had this on your watch list. Okay. That makes sense. There's so many coins to track that, like, it got kind of overwhelming for me. So I just stuck to Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol mainly, with like the exception of a few alts here and there, like flavor of the month, if you know what I mean. Um, Lit looks, to be honest, like higher time frame lit still looks dog, but it's already retested H1 here a bit. Smart. Missed a few setups because of that. Yeah, I mean, when you have a big watch list, um, it can get overwhelming. But to be fair, it depends on your system, right? Like if you're just using EMAs and like trying to look for trends, you can just scroll down really quickly and see like where stuff's at, like whether it's above or below certain EMAs, and from like from just that alone, you know, you can find some good setups like very quickly. It was in Muro's privacy watch list. I have to check that out. I'll check that out after the stream. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I think we covered everything. So, um, thanks for coming, lads. Appreciate it. It's Friday now, so happy weekend. I hope you guys take care of yourselves. Don't overtrade. It's about to be super liquid weekend volume, so don't get chopped up because I know I've been there before. So yeah, appreciate you, man. You too. Have a good weekend, guys. Take care.